Okay, so we're diving into this relationship advice you've been wanting to unpack.
Sounds good to me.
Looks like we've got articles summarizing, um,
The latest tips and tricks.
yeah, like the best stuff out there right now.
Right.
And we even have some stuff from
Ooh, let me guess.
the New York Times.
Oh, fancy.
I know, right?
Uh-huh.
But you know what really stood out to me in all of this? Apologies and intimacy.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like those two things sound completely different, but apparently they're like the secret sauce to amazing relationships.
You know what's so fascinating to me about those two? They really come down to the same skill set.
Oh, how so?
Because it doesn't matter if you're saying, I'm so sorry, or this is what I need. It all comes down to being open and honest, being vulnerable.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And honestly, who hasn't completely messed up an apology?
Ooh, tell me about it.
I know I've been guilty of pulling that. I'm sorry, B-U-T, which we all know isn't a real apology at all.
Oh, yeah.
It's like we're trying to make ourselves feel better about messing up instead of actually taking responsibility for how it affected the other person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so true. It's like we're trying to protect ourselves instead of actually showing up for the other person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is where I think Lisa Leopold's work is so helpful.
Oh, yes, I've heard of her.
She has this whole 6-step process for something she calls a satisfying apology.
What a satisfying apology. Okay.
It sounds way more intense than just saying, my bad.
It does. It makes you realize there's a lot more to it than just those two words.
Yeah.
It's about going deeper, taking your time, instead of just rushing through it.
Yeah, definitely.
And you know what I find interesting? It all starts with something so small but so powerful.
What's that?
Using I statements.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I used to think that was just, like, semantics.
Right, like who cares?
Yeah, like who cares if I say, I'm sorry I'm late versus sorry I was late?
Exactly. What's the big deal?
But now I'm realizing it actually subtly changes things.
It totally does, because one is just stating a fact, The other one is you taking ownership.
Oh, okay.
It really shows that you're present in the situation, you're present with them, not just like, brushing it off.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Think about it this way.
Okay.
Imagine you totally forgot a friend's birthday.
Oh, the worst.
Right. The worst.
The worst.
Saying, like, sorry, I forgot, sounds way different than, I am so incredibly sorry I forgot your birthday.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You can hear the difference.
Totally.
Yeah.
So it's about actually acknowledging that you messed up.
Yes, exactly. You're owning it.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
But owning up is just the first hurdle in Leopold's apology boot camp.
Oh, tell me more. Tell me more.
Comes after that.
Well, the next step is accepting responsibility and then explaining what you did.
Okay.
But here's where it gets tricky.
Okay.
It's not about coming up with excuses for your behavior. It's about helping the other person understand, like, what was going on in your head, even if your thought process was totally wrong.
Yeah, that's where I think a lot of people get tripped up.
Totally.
It's so easy for explaining yourself to become blaming everyone else.
Oh, it's so easy to fall into that trap.
If you're not careful.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what's important is the intention behind it, Think about it this way. You're rushing to work.
Okay, I can picture it.
And you accidentally spill your coffee all over someone.
Oh.
The worst, I know. So a justifying explanation might be, well, I was in such a rush because I totally overslept.
Right.
But if you're focusing on actually taking responsibility, it might sound a little more like, I was so focused on getting to work that I wasn't paying attention to anything else.
Oh, yeah.
And I am so sorry I spilled your coffee.
Ooh, that's a really good example.
Right. Do you see the difference?
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've taken responsibility for our actions. We've explained ourselves without making excuses. What's next?
Next comes acknowledging the harm you've caused.
Ooh, that's a big one.
This is where empathy really comes in. It's not enough to just say, I messed up. You have to actually show the other person that you understand how your actions made them feel.
Because sometimes, even if we didn't mean to, our actions can still really hurt.
Exactly.
It's like, I know I promised to make dinner tonight. I'm so sorry that I had to bail at the last minute.
Oh, yeah.
I get that you're bummed about not having a home-cooked meal, but I also understand that it means you have to figure something else out when you're already exhausted from a long day.
Exactly. You're not just acknowledging what you did wrong, but you're recognizing what they're going through because of it.
Right, you're really seeing it from their side.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that is huge when it comes to rebuilding trust.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is really insightful,
Good. I'm glad.
but it also makes me realize this takes a lot of emotional intelligence.
It really does. But just like any other skill that's worth having, it's something we can learn and get better at with practice.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Like building a muscle.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Okay, so we're halfway through this apology framework.
We are. We're on a roll.
What are those last 3 steps? How do we seal the deal?
The home stretch. Okay, so the last 3 steps are promising not to do it again, actually offering to do something to make it right, and then asking for forgiveness.
So wait, it's not enough to just say, like, I'll try to do better next time.
You know, it's a start, but it's not enough.
Right.
It's about actually showing that you're committed to changing, not just saying the words.
Right.
Like, think about the difference between saying, I'm going to make a real effort to be on time, and I'll let you know if I'm running late, versus just, I'll try harder.
Oh, yeah.
Like, which one feels more sincere?
The first one, for sure.
Right. It shows you're serious about it.
Okay, yeah.
We're not just talking the talk, you're walking the walk.
And what about this whole making amends part?
Oh, yeah.
Is that where we offer to buy them a peace offering latte?
I mean, a latte is always a good idea,
It's true.
but it's more about recognizing that just saying sorry isn't always enough. You know, actions speak louder than words, right? It's about asking, what can I do to make this up to you? Or how can I fix this?
Oh, okay, so like a concrete plan.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
let's say you forgot to pick up your partner's prescription.
Oh, that's a good one.
Instead of just saying, oh, shoot, I completely forgot. I'm so sorry. You'd be like, I am so sorry. I totally messed up.
Oh, okay.
How about I run out first thing tomorrow morning and grab it? And to make it up to you, how about I make you that fancy breakfast you love?
Ooh, now that's an apology.
Right.
That shows you're not just sorry for what happened, but you actually get how it made them feel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not just trying to get off the hook. You're trying to make things right.
I love that. Okay, last step, seeking forgiveness.
Yes.
Why is that such a crucial part of this whole thing?
Because you're acknowledging that you can't force someone to forgive you.
Right.
It takes a lot of vulnerability to say, I hope you can forgive me. And it lets them respond authentically.
So it's not about making them forgive you. It's about giving them the space to decide.
Exactly. It's about respecting their process, you know?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Man, this is such a good reminder that a genuine apology is about way more than just saying, I'm sorry.
It really is. It's about showing up for the other person in a real way.
Okay, but I just realized we've only talked about one of the topics you mentioned earlier, apologies.
Oh, right.
We still haven't gotten to the other big one from those articles, intimacy.
We haven't even scratched the surface there.
I know. But it's interesting because a lot of the same principles apply.
They really do.
Like that open and honest communication is just as important for a fulfilling sex life as it is for anything else in a relationship,
100%.
which honestly can feel a little intimidating.
Oh, for sure.
I think a lot of people, myself included, would rather walk across hot coals than have those kinds of conversations.
Right. Like, who wants to feel awkward and uncomfortable?
It's the worst.
I know, but that's why I think the work Jeffrey Chernin is doing is so important.
Oh, tell me more about him.
So he's a therapist who specializes in relationships,
Okay.
and he's all about normalizing these conversations about intimacy, making it something we can actually talk about, even when it feels awkward.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, he says we need to get over the awkwardness because what's on the other side is so worth it.
Okay, so Chernin's view is basically get over it because the benefits are amazing.
Yes. He says that couples who avoid having these conversations end up with more misunderstandings, more resentment, and honestly, a less satisfying sex life.
Wow. Okay. I'm starting to see the connection between apologies and intimacy.
Right.
They both require a certain level of vulnerability
And accountability.
yes,
That's the word.
that's what it all comes down to.
It keeps coming up.
It does, because whether you're owning up to a mistake or telling someone what you need, it's about taking responsibility for your part in the relationship.
Okay, that makes total sense.
But if we're talking about really personal stuff, maybe even like vulnerable stuff,
Yeah.
how do we even create a space where we feel safe enough to open up?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It all starts with trust
Uh-huh.
and mutual respect. You know, it's about building that foundation so that even when those conversations are tough, you know you're coming from a place of love and understanding.
Yeah, I can see how that would make all the difference.
Totally. And you're right. It takes time.
Yeah, it's not like you can just snap your fingers and
Yeah.
suddenly have this perfect open line of communication.
Exactly. And that's where I see so many couples struggle.
Oh, so.
They think it's going to be this overnight transformation when in reality, it's a process.
Right, it's a journey.
Exactly.
it.
Like learning a new dance.
Oh, I like that.
You're going to step on each other's toes.
Aha, yeah.
There are going to be awkward moments and missteps.
But you figure it out as you go.
Exactly. You find your rhythm.
Okay, so then how do we avoid those communication breakdowns? Those moments where it feels like we're speaking completely different languages.
I think a real-life example might help here.
Okay, let's hear it.
Have you heard of Alex and Jamie? Their story might really resonate with you.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So they're partners.
Okay.
And they're kind of like a case study in what not to do, communication-wise.
Okay.
Alex tends to avoid conflict at all costs.
I've been there.
Right. Like, who wants to rock the boat?
Not me.
So they'll drop hints and just hope their partner picks up on them.
Oh, the good old they'll figure it out strategy.
Like telepathy, right.
The worst.
No,
I've tried. It never works.
It never works.
Never.
Never. And then you have Jamie,
Okay.
who is all about direct communication.
Okay, so total opposites.
Total opposites.
Got
Which
it.
makes for some interesting dynamics, let me tell you.
I bet. So how does this play into everything we've been talking about with apologies and all?
Okay, so remember those 6 steps for a good apology.
Yeah, from Lisa Leopold.
Yes. So picture this.
Okay.
Alex agreed to go to this party with Jamie, but secretly they're dreading it.
Oh, I feel that.
Right. Sometimes you just want to stay in up.
Yes. Introvert life, am I right?
Exactly. But instead of just saying, hey, honey, I know I said yes to the party, but I'm actually feeling a little overwhelmed. Would you mind if we skipped it? Oh, Alex starts dropping all these subtle hints.
Oh, no.
Hoping that Jamie will just magically understand.
Oh, we know that's not going to happen.
We know that's not going to happen.
So what happened?
Well, Jamie, being very straightforward, totally missed the hints.
Oh, no.
And was genuinely excited about the party. They even invited, like, a bunch of other friends to meet them there.
Oh, no. It just got real.
Things escalated quickly.
Quickly.
Right. So, of course, this all came to a head when Alex backed out of the party at the very last minute.
Oof, that's rough.
Jamie was so confused and hurt.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Right. Not exactly a recipe for a happy relationship.
Not at all. So how did they fix it? Did they use those apology skills we were talking about?
They did. Alex took a deep breath, and instead of just a quick sorry or sorry, you're upset, which, it's not helpful.
I know, full of a lot.
They said, I am so incredibly sorry that I canceled on you at the last minute, especially after you invited all those people.
Wait.
It wasn't fair to you at all, and I take full responsibility.
Okay, points for taking ownership.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing Jamie wasn't instantly over it, right?
Oh, definitely not. They were still really hurt and frustrated.
Yeah.
But because Alex owned their part in it, it actually opened the door for them to talk about it.
Oh, that's good.
Jamie felt heard, which is so important.
Yeah, that makes sense.
In any kind of conflict.
Totally.
So then Alex actually explained why they canceled.
Okay, and this is where it can get tricky, right? Because explaining can turn into blaming.
Exactly.
So how did Alex handle it?
Well, they explained that they were feeling super overwhelmed by the thought of the party, but they didn't know how to tell Jamie that.
Oh, so they were avoiding the awkward conversation.
Exactly. We've all been there. We've all been there. And, more importantly, it helped Jamie understand where they were coming from.
Okay, so empathy for the win.
Exactly. Empathy for the win. But they didn't stop there.
Oh. What else did they do?
Alex actually offered to make things right.
Oh, well.
Like, they acknowledged that canceling last minute had put Jamie in a really awkward position with their friends.
Oh, yeah, that's the worst.
The worst. So Alex suggested that they reschedule, do something else with their friends to show Jamie that they were serious about making things right.
Okay, I love that. It's like, yeah, you messed up, but you're willing to fix it.
Exactly. Actions speak louder than words.
Totally. But we haven't even touched on intimacy yet.
Right. We haven't even gotten there yet.
So how did Alex and Jamie navigate that part?
Well, this is where those two topics, apologies and intimacy, really come together.
Oh, how so?
Remember those articles you sent about Jeffrey Chernin?
Yeah, the ones about open communication in the bedroom.
Yes, those ones.
The ones we were both kind of like, ooh, maybe later.
Exactly. Well, Jamie had been reading those same articles.
Oh, okay.
And they decided to have a conversation with Alex about how they communicate differently.
Ooh, they could go either way.
Right, high stakes.
So how did it go? Were they able to actually talk it through?
It wasn't always easy, but they were both committed to making it work.
That's huge.
It is. And it started with Jamie acknowledging that they appreciated Alex's apology.
Oh, good.
And that they knew Alex wasn't trying to hurt them.
Okay, so starting with that foundation of respect and understanding.
Exactly. And with that in place, Jamie felt safe enough to share that they felt hurt when Alex relied on hints instead of just saying what they meant.
Oh, that's big. To be that honest and vulnerable.
Right.
Okay, so how did Alex take it?
This is where all that work they'd been doing with apologies really paid off.
Okay, how so?
Remember how those I statements shift things from blame to responsibility? Alex had really taken that to heart.
Okay.
They were able to actually listen to what Jamie was saying without getting defensive.
That's amazing. So they talked it through.
They did.
Did anything actually change?
That's the thing about all this advice. It only works if you use it.
True.
And in their case, Alex and Jamie actually wanted to be better partners for each other.
Ah, I love that.
So they started using those communication skills, both when they messed up and when they were talking about intimacy.
Wow, so they made it a regular part of their relationship.
Exactly.
That's huge.
It is huge. It wasn't always perfect.
I'm sure.
But each time they faced a challenge, they were able to use what they'd learned.
Oh, that's so good. So it's like they built up that trust and understanding over time.
Exactly. Think of it like learning a new dance.
Okay.
You're going to step on each other's toes.
Yeah.
But eventually, you find your rhythm.
That's a good way to put it.
Right.
So for those of us who are ready to actually use all of this, where do we even begin?
That's the cool thing, you know?
What's that?
You don't have to be perfect right away.
Okay.
Just start by being more mindful.
Mindful of.
Your words.
Okay.
Your actions, especially when things get tough.
So instead of trying to be perfect, we should just try to be a little bit better each day.
Exactly. And it starts with paying attention to those small moments,
Okay.
like a quick apology or a
Whoa.
time when you chose to be vulnerable.
Those little things really do add up.
They do. They're the foundation of something much bigger.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get practical.
Okay.
What's one thing our listeners can start doing, like today, to improve their relationships?
Here's a little challenge.
Okay, I live a challenge.
Think about one area where you could improve, like how you talk to the people you care about.
Okay.
Maybe you could be more mindful of your tone during an argument.
Okay.
Or maybe it's finally having that conversation you've been putting off about what you really need.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right?
It can be anything.
It can be anything as long as it feels meaningful to you.
I love that. It's practical, it's personal,
Right.
and literally anyone can do it.
Exactly. Because this stuff applies to every relationship.
Oh, totally.
Romantic relationships, friendships, even family.
That's a deep dive. Has been amazing.
It has. I've learned so much.
Me too. So we went from figuring out how to apologize to talking about intimacy, and it all comes back to those same things.
What things?
Communication and accountability.
It's all connected. And the best part, these are skills we can keep working on our whole lives.
It's a journey, not a race.
Exactly.
Well, I've learned so much from this conversation. I hope our listeners have too.
Me too. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Until next time.
And remember, keep those conversations going, those apologies sincere, and those connections strong.